Okay, this article comes from the New York Times. Good morning, everyone. This is Nicole. I hope everybody's doing well out there. Welcome back to my channel. Please subscribe. Hit that notification bell twice if you're first subscriber. Thank you to all my subscribers. I really appreciate your support. And let's get into this article. A man died after being infected with a brain-eating amoeba. Here are the facts. So I mentioned this in my previous video about typhus versus typhoid fever. This is the guy, Fabricio Stabile of Ventnor, New Jersey. He died after contracting an infection at a Texas water park. It sounds crazy, but this is what happened. So he was infected with Naegleria fowleri, also known as brain-eating amoeba, a rare infection that is contracted through the nose in fresh water. He went to this freshwater water park in Texas. Texas and Florida being the two states where you have the highest level of this brain-eating amoeba. He became ill with a headache. His symptoms worsened, so he went to the hospital, he was mowing his lawn on September 16th. He was taken to the hospital. I'm not sure when he was taken to the hospital, but they did a spinal tap, revealed he was infected with the amoeba. He died on the 21st. So if he came in on the 17th or 18th, he died a few days later. It is the first confirmed case of the infection in the U.S. since 2006. And that's according to an epidemiologist from the CDC. He fell ill after visiting the BSR Cable Park and Surf Resort, a surf and water park in Waco, Texas, according to the Public Health District spokeswoman. She said in an interview that the CDC sent epidemiologists to take samples from the park to test for the presence of the amoeba, and those results could come this week. There are no reports of other illnesses at the Waco Park, the CDC said. Apparently, he was in excellent health, no issues, no pre-existing conditions or anything like that. But they go into detail what this amoeba is. So Naegleria fowleri is a single-cell organism that can cause a rare infection of the brain called primary amoebic meningoencephalitis. So that is where the meninges and the inside of the brain are inflamed. There's inflammation there. This is also known as PAM. It is usually fatal. This organism thrives in warm temperatures and is commonly found in warm bodies of fresh water, such as lakes, rivers, and hot springs. So I talked about this with my mom last night on the phone. We were just talking about science and, life in general. It's my mom. So, hey, mommy, if you're out there. But I told her about this, and she was like, well, with Fukushima and the radiation, and because I've been teaching her about Fukushima, and she's been teaching her students about it as well, or middle school students. And yeah, she's a science teacher, so she's really interested in things I'm interested in too. But she said that, when you have radiation in the water and it's contaminating everything, you can't eat shellfish, you can't eat fish, you can't really trust where the fish is coming from and all that. Yeah, that water feeds into fresh water. Radiation doesn't have a limit. It doesn't care. It has a high energy frequency, and it doesn't matter what it comes into contact with. So I'm not surprised that this man was infected by an amoeba that has been become very invasive. So the amoeba got its nickname because it starts to destroy brain tissue once it reaches the brain. So what happens is this amoeba, we were talking about this last night too, it passes the blood-brain barrier because it gets in your nose. It's able to get into the soft sinuses of your nasal cavity, enter your bloodstream, pass the blood-brain barrier. It gets into your brain without any detection and buries itself in the brain. Amoeba have a false foot, what is called a false foot, and it's able to, or a pseudo foot. So it's able to stabilize itself once it gets where it needs to go. And that is a terminal organ. Your brain is a terminal organ, meaning that once it gets there, it's very hard to get it out. Basically, according to this person from the CDC, it turns your brain into a food source. It eats the brain. And it is a very scary name. It's not completely inaccurate. The amoeba can also hide in pipes that are connected to tap water. According to the CDC, you cannot get infected by touching contaminated water or by swallowing it, and the infection cannot be passed from one person to another. Yeah, because once it gets in your brain, you're not going to be able to pass that to somebody else. That's on you. They have the symptoms here: basic meningitis symptoms, headache, nausea, vomiting, confusion, which are typical. And sometimes, since it's so typical and so similar to meningitis, some people are misdiagnosed, which makes the condition worse. According to the CDC, 143 people were infected between 1962 and 2017, the last year for which data is available. All but 4 of them were fatal. More than half of the infections occurred in Texas and Florida. Amoeba is not found in salt water. You might ask why? Because salt water disrupts their cell wall or their plasma membrane. It disrupts their ability to signal on a plasma membrane, so they can't live in salt water. However, if salt water is contaminated and it comes and mixes in with the fresh water, you can still have very aggressive forms of these bacteria and different organisms because they want to survive. And they say here different ways you can prevent getting it. Some people have been infected using neti pots with the water or ceramic or plastic pots to clear their sinuses. So you just have to be careful. I don't go to freshwater parks. If it's not chlorinated, I'm not getting in it. I don't care. And even if it's chlorinated, I question getting in it when there's a bunch of kids, because you know how kids, they nasty sometimes. They want to pee in the water or whatever. Even adults sometimes is nasty. So anyway, this is really devastating that this guy died, not expecting this to happen after going to a water park and having fun, maybe with his family. But you all let me know what you think in the comment section about this, and I'll talk to you in the next one.